Hey YouTube, this is Kevin Bowen of Bowen Small Engine, and today guys I wanted to show you some recent projects that I've been working on as far as my leather work. It has been a challenge, I will definitely tell you guys that. I'm going to start off by showing you a pouch that I made out of some very old leather that had been given to me by an elderly gentleman from work. This pouch, or leather shall we say, was roughly about 50 years old, and it had been in this barn exposed to weather, pigeons, I mean you name it. Okay, so before you get too harsh about the breaks that's in the leather, let me assure you that this leather was extremely old when I received it. I did soak it in water for 24 hours, but as you guys can see, it's still, it's pretty distressed. But I am very pleased with the pouch. Okay, I have to say that I made for my son. It turned out exceptionally well built in my opinion. Very strong, very durable. I'm going to estimate that it's between 10 ounce to 12 ounce leather. Okay, so as you can imagine, it's very thick. Note that he always carries bank line, a lighter, a flashlight, and inside the Altoids tin, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's actually got some lawnmower rope as well as another lighter. Tell you what, let's just have a peek to see. I'm kind of curious myself at this point. And I'm correct. There is a lighter and some lawnmower rope. Now, of course, you may or may not have seen this knife in other videos. This is the knife that I made for my son. He calls it the tiger's tooth. As you can see, it's pretty obvious as to why he named it the tiger's tooth. The stripes are very much like that of a tiger. And of course, this is the only knife that I've ever made that's had a gut hook. And he really likes it. And of course, that's the sheath that I made for my son as well, that houses the tiger's tooth. It's extremely well built. One of my better works, if I do say so myself. It is a dangler, double stitched, as you guys can see, and it even has a bone insert for a welt. An extremely nicely built sheath, if I do say so myself. I do elect to put buckles on instead of buttons. I just find that the buckles are more secure, and that's why I actually use a buckle instead of a button, or a snap, shall we say. Moving along, guys, I'm going to show you this pouch, which is basically almost a copy of what I made for my son, except it's a bigger version. And as you can see, it has a turkey's footprint on it. So obviously, if you ever get any of my works, if it has a turkey's paw, or footprint shall we say, turkey's paw, that's kind of funny, then you'll realize that I made it. Okay, my son's does have a turkey's footprint as well. This, of course, is what I put in to this pouch, and I typically use this pouch when I go fishing. Although, as you can clearly see, I have made a dump pouch since about 3 weeks ago, and I've been currently using the dump pouch, and to be honest with you, I find it to be easier to deal with than the bigger pouch. I do want to note, guys, that in the bigger pouch that you're seeing, I typically carry a flashlight, a plane, and a small utility box that has basically fish hooks, and I'll open it up for you guys. Fish hooks and a lighter with a few sinkers. And generally speaking, I do carry a hank of paracord or bank line with me. at all times, basically. This, of course, is immediately going to catch everybody's eyes. I get a lot of feedback and attention from this knife. This knife, guys, is a companion knife that I made for the BOBCAT. You guys have seen the BOBCAT in many, many videos in the past. It is the knife that I use basically as my EDC. It's basically my take on the Scorpion that Dave Canterbury sells on his website. I just had to modify it slightly. But anyway, this, of course, is what I call the Cub's Paw. I absolutely love this little knife. Very cute, very small, but very, very effective and very thick. Very nice knife for batoning. Small pieces of wood, shall we say. But very, very effective. I really like this knife. Moving along, guys, you obviously have seen this pouch in the past. It's not made by me in any way, guys. I actually purchased this pouch a couple of years back. I think it come from a company called Patriot. And of course, you've seen the contents in it many times. This is the sheath that I made for the BOBCAT. It was one of my first, guys. So that's why you can see the stitching isn't quite perfect. But I have to say that the sheath is held up very, very well. It's very strong, very well made, and highly similar to the one that I showed you that my son has. Although I will admit my son's is built slightly better. And you can see that I have a bone insert in it as well, or an antler. Pretty sure this is a white-tailed deer antler. I think my son's may potentially have been an elk. But you can obviously see that this sheath has been abused. I have had it out many, many, many times, and it's proven itself time and time again. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I would go back and try to clean up the stitching and all that, but it's effective as it is. So I'm just going to leave it be. Naturally, everybody likes the BOBCAT. The BOBCAT is an extremely, very, very well made knife. This knife has proven itself time and time again in the field. I have done everything from chopping, batoning, you name it. I mean, this knife can do it. I'm very pleased with it. Obviously, you can see I even use it as a fire steel from time to time, and it works exceptionally well for throwing sparks. Very, very nice knife. This dump pouch has gained a lot of attention in the last 2 weeks, 3, if you will. I made this dump pouch because I got tired of carrying the bigger pouch because it is somewhat cumbersome. The dump pouch is a lot easier to carry. You don't have to carry as much, and you do have the benefit of having a pouch that you can actually put cut bait in as you're traveling around a river or creek. So naturally, that's why I built it the way that I did, guys. I want to note that the 2 small Altoids tins that you're seeing have fish hooks as well as sinkers in them. Okay, I just pulled them out so I could show you guys, you know, that it does accommodate 2 small Altoids tin. And obviously you can see I have a red Bic lighter. Now I want to note, guys, that just like the bigger pouch here, I do have a turkey's foot on it, okay? Or track. I should say turkey's track. But if you guys had actually seen how I had made the stamp for it, you would understand why I keep saying I have a turkey's foot on it. These I have received a lot of questions about. And basically, guys, all I done was take an antler and the top tine portion and cut it off. Put a spring in a holler hole drilled about 3/4 of the way down into this antler, and then just place the tine on top and proceeded to drill a hole to accommodate the paracord that basically slides through it. Very simple, very easy to make, but I think that it really makes this pouch look great. And of course, you can obviously see that the dump pouch, you know, does have some paracord or bank line. Actually, I think it's bank line that I placed on the inside just as a contingency in case I was out and I needed to make a fire with a bow drill, in the rare event that I lost the lighter. At this point, guys, I think I pretty well covered everything that I wanted to show you guys in this video in regards to what I've been up to lately. Until the next video, YouTubers.